Hey guys, sorry I haven't made a video for a while. I'm going to make this little video to update you guys on where I'm at with my life and everything. I just got back from Phoenix last week, which was a gong show. You probably saw that little snippet there of me on the side of the highway at midnight with a broken down truck. Passport was missing, all this type of stuff. I'll tell you more about that later in the video, about a crazy miracle that happened. But anyways, right now I'm working on this 1983 C10 with a 305 in it, and we're just going to be doing a refresh on this engine. Yanked her out yesterday, well, pulled it to the shop yesterday, picked it up, and then pulled the motor, and we got it ready to slam some pistons in and everything. So we're waiting on some parts, so I figured I'd make this little video. There's been a lot of stuff going on in my life lately, frustrating things, hard things, learning a lot lately. Learned some things on my trip. So the trip was to Phoenix, to Dino's Get Down, the big truck show down there. And I went with my brother, my friend Blaine, and some other guys there, which you'll see in a full video that's coming out here soon. But what I learned is that apart from my wife, when I'm apart, I'm actually pretty weak. And for all you married guys out there, when you're apart from your wives, that's your second half. And yeah, you can just be, it's hard. I learned some stuff on that trip. Anyways, I'll tell you about the trip. The first 5 days went really good. We went to Great Falls, and then we went to Salt Lake City, and then to Las Vegas. And Las Vegas was crazy. My brother, if you've seen him in any of my videos, he's a really big dude. He's like 6'6". And everyone, well, not everyone, lots of people at the strip were wanting to take pictures of him and with him when we were in Las Vegas, because they thought he was an attraction because he's just so big. And anyways, that was good. And then we went on to Phoenix, and I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not much of a drinker. I do drink beer here and there, but there's been some other stuff going on in my life. And right before we left on the trip, I was at this seminar, and it had to do with spiritual warfare and that type of thing. And I help people with evil spirits and casting them out of people and everything, because in the Bible, that's what it commands us to do. Anyways, right before I left on the trip, I got a text from this woman who I've been working with, trying to help get free of evil spirits in her life. And the text just said, "We want to hurt you." So not the type of thing you want to hear right before you're about to go on a trip, 5,000 kilometer round trip kind of thing. Anyways, that kind of shook me up a little bit, and I forgot about it actually while we were on the trip. And anyways, Saturday night, so this would be like November the 10th or 11th, I don't remember. We ended up going back to the condo early, and I got pretty smoked. I'm not gonna lie, I've never been drunk before, and I probably drank 12 beers, and I was just angry. There's been a lot of stuff that's been happening in life, and I just was like, you know what, screw it. And at the time, I didn't really realize I was angry until the next morning. I realized that I had a flippant attitude, and I was like, I don't care anymore. I've been trying to help these people, trying to do these things, but no one seems to listen. And I really slipped up there and drank way too much, and ended up throwing up and stuff. And I'm not proud of that, but I'm telling you guys that just so you remember, I'm a real person that does things that I'm not proud of. And if you've ever done that, I'm sure you can agree it's not the best experience. And anyways, like I was saying at the beginning, my wife wasn't there, so I feel like it was a weekend, and I was struggling with temptation the whole time. Anyways, that's not the greatest part of the story, but it happened. And anyways, so the next morning felt like crap. And that day we were still in Phoenix, and we were driving across town to another place. And as we were driving, all of a sudden smoke just starts billowing out the back of my truck. And pull over, and the output shaft seal is on the yoke on the drive shaft. It had just come right out. So that was the first bad thing that happened. That just kind of happened out of the blue. I got under there, we jacked it up with the hammer, jacked it up, and I tapped it back in with the hammer, and went on our way, and went back to the hotel later. And then the next morning we left to head back home. We made it to Salt Lake City. We pulled over. One of the guys was going to stay there, and someone had to grab some stuff out of my truck because they were putting it into my truck, and they were staying there. And the tailgate on Crunchy, you have to slam it pretty hard. Anyways, it didn't get slammed, and I should have checked that, which is my fault. And we leave. It's about 9:30 p.m., 8:30, somewhere in there. I forget. Anyways, we're ripping, and about 150 miles from where we stopped in Salt Lake City, I get a guy behind me, and he's flashing his lights at me. And we pull over. Sure enough, my tailgate's open, and my backpack with my passport in it's gone. My toolbox is gone. Some other stuff is gone. It's like, 10:45 p.m., and I'm like, what am I going to do? Anyways, so my friend Reese and I turn around and head back. My brother comes with us about 30 miles, and then he backtracks. He didn't find it, so we keep going to Salt Lake City, and we're about 20 miles out of Salt Lake City. And things are just not going good. Anyways, 20 miles out of Salt Lake City, boom, that output shaft seal, starts leaking like a sieve again, smoking out the whole highway, can't see anything behind us. Pull over, and I had a jug of ATF in there, so I poured half a gallon or so of ATF in the transmission, kept going. Transmission started getting sloppy, pulled over, filled it up again, blew through a red light, made it back to the hotel where we originally stopped, and the tailgate was left open, or not slammed. So now it's like midnight, and I'm like, I'm in a low spot, I'm not feeling very good. I'm frustrated, my passport's gone, truck is obviously in shambles. I'm like, what are we gonna do? So, and I filmed parts of it, so you'll see that in the video that comes out. But anyways, I wanted to tell you ahead of time. We get back to the hotel parking lot, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go look on the road and see if by chance the backpack fell off right when we showed up. So I do, and I go out and I see pages of my Bible on the road there, and it's been like 3.5 to 4 hours since that would have fallen out. There's pages of my Bible on the ground, and we start picking them up, and I start finding tools and other stuff, but still no backpack. We keep picking up as much as we can, and my friend Reese, who's with me, he just felt like he should start going down another road, and because he was seeing Bible pages, and he followed Bible pages over a mile away from our hotel down this other road, and opposite of the way that we went, following Bible pages. And he gets to about a mile away, and he finds a Bible page, and he looks up, and he sees my backpack, or part of my backpack, beside an inner fender on the side of the road. Picks it up, looks inside, and there's my passport. And then my passport was in a little pocket with some rocks that I'd gotten for the girls, a charging cord, a charging block, everything else, even the rocks were just crushed, but the passport survived. So the Word of God, the pages of the Bible, led Reese right to my backpack. So that's pretty insane. So obviously we were pretty pumped about that. Went to sleep that night in that hotel, got up, went to Harbor Freight, picked up some stuff, went to Napa, picked up a seal, slammed it in, and I'm like, okay, we're going to make it. We get about 20 miles down the road, and all of a sudden, boom, smoke just pouring out again, and I'm like, okay, we're not going to be able to drive Crunchy back. The reason it was having problems was because the drive shaft, I think, was a little bit too short, and the yoke was starting to wear on the output shaft splines, and it was vibrating, which was blowing the seal out. Anyways, I had put a Facebook post up the night before asking for help if by chance my truck didn't make it. And there was a guy who got back to me. His name is Bryce, and his company is Twisted Wrench Automotive in North Salt Lake City. Shout out to Bryce. That guy pulled through on so many levels. Anyways, he sent me his number, ended up calling him. Within an hour, he was there on the side of the highway at this gas station with me, truck and trailer, towed me back to his shop, 45 minutes, unloaded my truck, and then took me to the airport, and he would not take any money. He was like, no, I don't want any money. And if Bryce, you're watching this, you know that you ended up taking some money only because I forced you, because I can't take Canadian or American back to Canada. But the guy would not take any money from me, and it was just a huge blessing. Anyways, we get to the airport, and my buddy Reese, who's just a champion, is with me, and he's just a positive dude. Like, I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling pretty dark, pretty frustrated, pretty angry about things, obviously. And get into security, get through, had to throw away both my pocket knives, which was pretty lame, but whatever. And I then go have a nap, and Reese shows up later. And we ended up having to fly down to LA from Salt Lake City. And then we flew to Minnesota, had a layover there, and then flew back to Calgary. Okay? And keep in mind, I didn't have my clothes. All I was in was my shirt, which was stained in ATF, my jeans, which were stained in ATF. I smell like a wreck. I'm super dirty. I just look like a bum going through these airports. Like, this guy should not be on a plane. Anyways, all good. We finally get home and go to bed. And obviously I don't have a vehicle to get to the shop. So the next morning, my good friend Tim, who actually prayed for me the day that I left, went over to his shop and he prayed with me. He shows up, picks me up at 6:30 in the morning, and he hands me a Bible. He's like, I felt like I was supposed to give this to you. And it's the exact same Bible, the color, the translation, everything that I had. And he gave it to me. And he's like, I told him a little bit what happened. And he's like, Sam, I'll tell you what happened. When you were on that trip, you let your guard down. And you got attacked. Because remember what those evil spirits said through that woman. Remember that text that I got. Because that wasn't her. She texted me about an hour later and apologized for sending that to me, but she said she couldn't stop her hands from doing that. They just did it. And so it all came together. It was like I let my guard down when I was drinking and stuff like that. And I've never been drunk before. I never plan on being drunk ever again. And yeah, you know what? I'm sorry that I did that. It's not a good thing. I'm not proud of it at all. Anyways, that's the story. So it started with prayer with Tim when we were at the shop, praying. And then it ended with him giving me a Bible and telling me I let my guard down. And so I learned a lot on that trip. First thing is, it's probably not wise for me to leave my family. You know, I have 3 little girls. The second thing is I shouldn't be drinking too much. And the third thing is I wasn't in the Word, reading my Bible, you know, super regularly on the trip. I started out, but then I got weaker and weaker. And so those are some of the things I learned. But, however, there was lots of good parts of the trip, which you will see in a video which is coming out soon. But for everyone who's wondering how I'm doing and everything, and if I made it back, now you know. So that's the scoop on that. Right now I'm in the shop working on the C10. I bought a Hino flat deck that I'm trying to sell, and a Dodge 2500 5-speed Cummins. That's actually a 2003 with the NV 4500, which is pretty cool. But anyways, that's kind of an update, and I appreciate all you guys. I know you watch my videos and comment and, you know, like to follow my life, and lots of you text me on Instagram and stuff and encourage me, which I think is super cool, and I appreciate every single one. So hope you guys have a great day. Hope you can learn from my mistakes. And for you married guys out there, like I said, your wife is your second half. And my dad told me that when I got home, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I feel like I kind of messed up there. But anyways, it's in the past, the Lord is good. I know I'm forgiven, and I've learned my lesson. So, back to work here. Hope you guys have a great day. God bless you all. We'll see you in the next video, which is hopefully coming soon.